Plaza Hotel to let them know that she now had a valid missing persons report and was requesting to see the camera footage from the previous night. But they once again told her that they wouldn't be able to assist her because she didn't have a valid missing persons report number. And at that very moment, Lenore received a call from the Rosemont PD to let her know that the missing persons report that she filed was invalid because she didn't sign the paperwork. She begged the officer on the phone to come down to the Crown Plaza Hotel to offer her some kind of assistance in looking for her sister. Eventually, the officer agreed and went to the hotel. Kenneka's sister repeatedly requested that he check the video camera footage from the night that she went missing. She stated that he went inside of the office for all of 5 minutes before coming out of the room and saying that there was no footage of Kenneka ever entering or exiting the hotel. Lenore knew that this wasn't true, but her only choice was to accept the information that she was given. As she was leaving the hotel, she called her mom and told her what the officer said. After receiving that news, Teresa returned to the Crown Plaza at about 5 p.m. And this time she wasn't taking no for an answer. She wasn't asking the hotel staff for help. She decided to take matters into her own hands. And she wasn't alone. Along with her daughter Lenore came Irene, whose party was held the night before that Kenneka attended. She was there to help with the search, along with T.Y. and Peasy, who had also helped to look for Kenneka the night before. They started on the 9th floor, going room to room, banging on the doors, asking people had they seen Kenneka. The hotel staff told them that they were disturbing the peace, and that if they continued, they would have to call the cops. The search party ignored the hotel staff's request and continued to go down each floor, banging on room doors trying to get information about Kenneka. Eventually, the police showed up and gathered everybody in the lobby trying to get to the bottom of what was going on. Teresa explained to the officers that she had been coming back and forth to the hotel all day trying to get information about her missing daughter. But according to the people that were there, the officers didn't seem too interested in Kenneka being missing. They were treating them like they had done something wrong and like they were the suspects. They began to ask them did they have records and hadn't they been arrested before in Rosemont. That's when Teresa said, why isn't the focus being put on finding her missing daughter? Why are they the ones being questioned? And that's when the police started to ask them questions about Kenneka, like her appearance, her height, the clothing that she had on the night of her disappearance. According to Irene, there was an individual in the hotel lobby at the time of all of the commotion, a trans woman who claimed to have seen Kenneka the night before at the lower level of the hotel with a group of men. But according to Irene, the police completely ignored her and act like they didn't hear anything that she said. This individual was verified to be at the hotel around the time of Kenneka's disappearance. They were captured on CCTV footage. After getting information about Kenneka from family and friends, the cops told them that they had to leave the hotel, but that they would search the premises, and told Teresa that they would update her if they found anything. And just 3 hours later, Teresa would get a phone call that would change her life forever. It was the Rosemont Police Department, letting her know that they had just found her daughter at the lower level of the hotel dead inside of a freezer. It said that she was found by 2 officers at 12:30 a.m. She had trouble processing what the officer was telling her. It just didn't make any sense. When Teresa arrived back at the hotel, she asked the detective in charge would it be okay if she seen her daughter. And the detective replied by saying yes, it would be okay. But hours would go by and Teresa wouldn't hear anything else until a sergeant walked inside of the office and told Teresa that she wouldn't be able to see her daughter because it was against protocol. She claimed that he was very rude and wasn't helpful at all. After he told her she wouldn't be able to see her daughter, Teresa asked for his name and his badge number, which made him feel away. After that, he agreed to let her see her daughter's body, but said that he had to talk to the coroner first to make sure that it was okay. Another 5 hours would pass before Teresa would get word that it was okay for her to go see her daughter, but it came with restrictions, telling her that she could only bring one other person, she couldn't take any pictures, and she couldn't touch anything because it was an active crime scene. As soon as Teresa walked inside of the kitchen area, she immediately broke down. Although she didn't directly see her daughter, she did see the white body bag on the stretcher, and that was enough to send her into hysteria. That moment would be captured on hotel security footage, followed by the cops on scene, who don't seem too sure of what to do or what to say to the grieving mother. After regaining her composure, she asked the detectives could she at least look at the crime scene to try to understand what happened to her daughter. They told Teresa that it was an open and shut case. Kenneka was intoxicated. She stumbled to the freezer and accidentally locked herself inside. There was no signs of her being taken advantage of in any way, so it would be ruled an accidental death. He did tell her that one of Kenneka's shoes was off, and she did have a few scratch marks on her body. He said that her taking the shoe off was a side effect of hypothermia, and the scratch marks probably came from her bumping up against the wall while intoxicated walking through the hotel. But Teresa was well aware that hypothermia side effects would cause a person to take off all of their clothing, not just one shoe. When she entered the freezer where Kenneka was found, she noticed that the door locked from the outside. Plus, there was a white lever inside of the freezer that she could have pushed that would have simply opened the door. So she felt there was no way that her daughter actually locked herself inside. Something else happened. Then she started asking questions about the camera that was above the freezer that Kenneka allegedly walked into on her own. The detective responded by saying that this particular camera wasn't on during that time. Teresa stated that it seemed like the more questions she asked about the crime scene, the more frustrated the officers on scene got. It didn't seem like she was getting treated like a grieving mother. She was getting treated like a suspect and didn't understand why they decided not to take fingerprints. Teresa stated that she found it odd that law enforcement was trying to close the case immediately, as well as determining the cause of death and accident on scene without doing a proper autopsy. She left the hotel that day still cloudy surrounding the information of what happened. The only thing she knew for certain is that she had lost her daughter, and she was desperate to know why. So she decided to go to the only place where she felt like she had a voice: social media. She made numerous IG Live videos and Facebook posts demanding justice for her daughter. Her posts would get thousands of likes, shares, and retweets, and the story started to pick up steam on the internet. Celebrities, blog sites, and major news outlets began to report on the mysterious death of Kenneka Jenkins.
The big question: how did Kenneka Jenkins wind up in a freezer? CBS 2's Sandra Torres is live at the Rosemont Police Station tonight.
But the death over the weekend of 19-year-old Kenneka Jenkins is casting a long shadow over the town's good news.
Obviously a tragedy. This 19-year-old gal has lost her life.
After Jenkins was discovered missing after attending a birthday party on the 9th floor of the Crown Plaza Hotel late Friday night, her body was discovered early Sunday morning in a freezer in the basement of the hotel.
Her mother was hoping that all of the news coverage would help bring justice for her daughter. Dozens of protests would take place in Chicago, demanding for Kenneka's case to be reopened. And during this time, she would receive an ally, a man named Andrew Holmes. She stated that she had never met him before, but when he introduced himself, he said that he was a part of the Chicago PD special unit and that he was there to help her get answers about her daughter's death. He presented himself as an ally, and in her vulnerable state, Teresa was willing to take any help that she could get in regards to her daughter. She went to a meeting at the Rosemont Police Department about keeping her daughter's case open. Teresa was accompanied by her lawyer, but she said for some reason, the sergeant at the meeting found it very disrespectful that she came with legal counsel. She left that meeting making no progress in her daughter's case. A day later, she would once again be contacted by the Rosemont PD. They told Teresa that they needed Kenneka's cell phone in order to look through it for possible evidence. She also claims that they told her that they had the video of Kenneka walking inside of the freezer, but she would have to come down to the police station in order to view it, and she had to come by herself, no lawyers. Teresa said that she didn't feel comfortable doing that, and they told her that she wouldn't be able to view the video of her daughter. That's when Andrew Holmes stepped in and said that he would go down to the Rosemont PD on her behalf. Not too long after this interaction, she would receive another phone call from Andrew Holmes, saying that he had just watched the video of Kenneka walking inside of the freezer and it was simply an accident. He then told her that she needed to get online and report this new information so all of the protesting would stop, because the hotel was starting to lose a lot of money. Teresa stated at that very moment she knew she could no longer trust Alex as an ally, and even though initially she would reject his request to call for an end to the protest, eventually she would agree and call for an end due to the fact that she didn't want any violence to take place between the protesters and the police.
Andrew Holmes called my phone. He told me to get on. He said, what you should do is get on live and make a live and tell him that you saw the camera of Kenneka walking into the freezer. He said, because the hotel is not making no money. They want us to stop this. They want us to stop. They want it to stop.
Me looking at the video, she was trying to find her way back upstairs to the lobby. And she was checking the doors, and she was checking other doors, just trying to find her way back upstairs. So in saying that, she was walking forward where all of the video cameras caught her every movement, and I watched her as she went through the other door, and at the same time, she went through an unsecured area.
Not to mention the multiple people that came to her presenting themselves as community leaders. Without Teresa's knowledge, they would set up donation accounts under Kenneka's name, then pocketing all of the money and leaving the people who donated feeling scammed. Teresa stated that she never told anyone to take money on her behalf, and the only thing she was ever concerned with was justice for her daughter. But it wasn't clear if that would be possible. The more footage that came out from the hotel that night, the more conspiracy theories grew. There were so many different characters and so many potential suspects. There was video of different unidentified security guards that was at the hotel the night of Kenneka's disappearance. And according to those who have studied the Kenneka Jenkins case, it's the actions that they were caught on security footage doing. One security guard was caught sprinting through the halls around the time of Kenneka's disappearance. He seemed to be in a very frustrated state, and it's not very clear exactly what the issue was, and the hotel had no record of any incidents being reported. Another security guard was caught going room to room. It seems as if he was trying to open the door, but he had towels in his hand as if he was trying to give them to the guests. Some people pointed out that it seemed odd for a security guard to be the one giving out towels when that's usually a housekeeping job, along with the fact that there was multiple reviews of people saying that a strange man tried to enter their room at night. One individual claims that the hotel gave this person described as the strange man a key to every room in the hotel. A number of videos began to show up on YouTube of internet detectives pointing out clues in the security footage of the Kenneka Jenkins case. Some people believed that there was a hand that reached out for Kenneka as she was going around the corner in one of the hallways on the CCTV footage, while others stated that it wasn't Kenneka at all and that the video wasn't even real, and that it was just a cover-up for something much more larger and sinister that was going on. But what can be verified with 100% certainty is that Kenneka Jenkins was seen on security footage, looking as if she was in a sedated state, stumbling through the hallways trying to find her way, as if she was inside of a maze that she couldn't figure out or escape. There would also be another individual added to the list of potential suspects and suspicious characters. Videos on the internet would refer to him as the morgue guy because he was seen handling the body in the kitchen with the police. But when everyone left the room, he would turn to the camera, staring at it in a very ominous, and some would say suspicious manner. And what makes this individual even more interesting is that he would later be arrested with someone else who was connected with the case. The trans individual who was trying to talk to the police on the night that they were questioning Kenneka's mom, when she was trying to tell the officers that she seen Kenneka on the bottom floor with a group of guys, but was completely ignored. The charges that they were arrested for was unrelated to the Kenneka Jenkins case, but people still found the connection to be extremely odd. One of the most infamous pieces of evidence was an Instagram live video taken by her friend Irene. But this theory would quickly be disproven because that IG live video was taken before the one that showed Kenneka at the party, seemingly completely sober and okay. Conspiracy theorists would say that if you listen closely, you could hear Kenneka screaming in the background before Irene turns up the music to drown out her voice.
I'm not drunk. I am enjoying myself.
I'm telling you. What's up? You riding with me or what? You tripping?
The Crown Plaza would offer to pay for Kenneka's funeral, but her mom said she had to turn it down because they never formally apologized, and she didn't believe that they really even cared. After Kenneka's autopsy was completed,